Cincinnati Reds a terrible time for the last few years. Dodgers have beaten the Reds 10 straight at Dodger Stadium. They have beaten them 18 of the last 21 meetings. In fact, the Reds haven't won one since back in July the 28th of 2005. Manny Ramirez and the other Dodgers out there with the kids giving autographs at their position. Then the Peanuts will run off the field with boundless enthusiasm, just looking at the little guy who got Manny's autograph. And the big thing is, hopefully he will treasure that for the remaining days of his full life. And while he's dancing, the only concern of any parent, he's running around with a pen in his hand. So somebody ought to calm him down before he hurts himself. Anyway, it's a great opening act here as we get ready to get the ball game underway. It'll be Willie Taveras leading off in center field, Jerry Hairston Jr. in right field, and Joey Votto at first base. Johnny Gomes in left field, Edwin Encarnacion at third base. Ryan Hannigan, who was so impressive last night, will be behind the plate. Adam Rosales is at second base for Brandon Phillips. Then you have Paul Janisch at shortstop and Homer Bailey on the mound. On the mound for the Dodgers, the king of the no decision, Randy Wolf. And of course, no decisions really translate into a great compliment. Every game he pitches, he does what the pitcher is supposed to do, keeps the Dodgers in the game. So he's 4-4, and last time out, he was absolutely brilliant. And again, for him, no cigar. He took a loss when the Dodgers were shut out 3-0, and really had great stuff that night. So let's see how it goes against Willie Taveras, then Jerry Hairston and Joey Votto. First inning, as the Dodgers sitting atop the world with an 8-game lead over second place Colorado. Giants just lost, so for the moment the Giants are back 9. The Braves wallop the Giants 8-1. Pitch to Willie Taveras in for a strike. One other note, the winning pitcher for Atlanta in that game, Derek Lowe. The Rockies sailing along, stubbornly hanging 8 back, and they're leading the D-backs 4-1 in the 6th inning. Pitch to Taveras, slow curveball in for a strike, and the count 0-2. Randy Wolf starting out on a beautiful summer's evening, 81 degrees. The beautiful translates into hot. Strike 2 pitch on the way. It's a showcase fastball up and away. Ball 1. 1-2 the count to Willie Taveras. Dodger infield is back with 2 strikes. Normally you're always looking for a bunt from Taveras. 1-2 pitch on the way to the right-hand hitting center fielder. Slow roller to short. Picked up by Furcal, the Troy man. And just like that, we have one away here in the first inning. Let's take a look at the Dodgers with the leather. No dramatic changes. The same cast. James Loney, the return of Orlando Hudson, Rafael Furcal and Casey Blake, Manny Ramirez, Matt Kemp, and Andre Ethier, Russell Martin handling Randy Wolf. So with one away, Jerry Hairston checking in. Hairston, a member of that great baseball family, and he has certainly upheld the family. 7 home runs, 26 runs batted in. Hitting .252. Jerry can play a lot of positions. He takes a pitch outside, ball 1. He played shortstop last night, and he's playing right field tonight. He can play just about anywhere. He's the first third-generation black major leaguer in history. His dad had 14 years in the big leagues. His brother Scotty plays, and he drives one into left center and deep. Ramirez to the track at the wall and makes the catch for the out. So Hairston, a long fly ball to left center, 2 down, and the batter will be Joey Votto. So a nice play for Manny Ramirez. Joey Votto, big left-hand batter, 6'3", 220, first baseman and outfielder, and a model of consistency. We were talking about it last night. He's hitting .347, but that's not even part of the Votto story as he looks at a strike. Runners in scoring position, hitting .344. At home, .351. On the road, .345. Against right-handers, .341. Against left-handers, .358. I mean, he is a package. Takes another strike. and the count 0-2. Joey is 6'3", 220. He was a second-round pick by the Reds back in 02. He's from Toronto and lives in the province of Ontario. He waves at a breaking ball, just didn't get a piece of it, fouls it back. 0-2. Not sure how to pronounce the town in which he lives. Eto, Bicoke. Anyway, I'll pass. 2 down. 0-2 the count to Joe. 25 years old. He'd be 26 in September. Into the windup goes Wolf. Comes back with a fastball fouled away. And it's still 0-2. Whenever you hear of an athlete coming out of Canada, I guess it's normal for us to think about hockey. But as he said, I didn't want to play hockey in youth leagues or high school. I wanted to play only baseball. My dad got at me in the start, and I haven't stopped playing since. So Votto waiting, and the strike 2 pitch on the way. Left-hand hitter takes in the dirt. 1-2 the count. Last year with the Reds, he had 24 home runs, 84 runs batted in, and he hit .297. So he's a threat. And hitting cleanup is Johnny Gomes. So Randy Wolf trying to get above the 500 mark. He is 4-4, 8-2 lifetime, however, against the Red. Votto fooled on a breaking ball and strikes out swinging. So down go the Reds, 1, 2, 3. And at the end of half an inning, Reds nothing, Dodgers coming up. Pitches, strikes out 1, retires the side in order. And we go to the bottom of the first inning now. The Dodger lineup, Rafael Furcal, the return of Orlando Hudson, he missed 1 game, and then Manny Ramirez, Andre Ethier, Casey Blake, and Russell Martin. James Loney hits 7th, Matt Kemp batting 8th, and Randy Wolf on the mound. On the mound is Homer Bailey, but the first thing you have to know about it, that's not really his name. His name is David Bailey Jr. He's out of LaGrange, Texas, a little town between Houston and Austin. And Homer is a nickname. He's had it since he was born. It was his great-grandfather's name. But since his dad was David Bailey and he was a junior, well, everybody decided to pick up on Homer. It'd be a great name if you're an outfielder, but not necessarily for a pitcher. And Homer's first pitch to Rafael Furcal off the plate as he shows bunt. 1 ball and no strike. Rafael burned the Reds last night. A slap bunt over the head of Edwin Encarnacion, who was charging for the bunt. And it wound up as a double, and the Dodgers went on to score 4. The 1-0 pitch, a full swing and a miss. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Rafael hitting .250, 4 home runs, 22 runs batted in. And the Dodgers trying to keep it going. They've beaten the Reds 10 straight here. They've beaten them 18 of the last 21 meetings. The 1-1 pitch, and Rafael takes a strike, and the count 1-2. Homer Bailey, a first-round pick 5 years ago out of LaGrange High School. He's 6'4", 205-pounder. He is 23 years old. Right-hander looks in to get a sign, heaves a sigh, now turns on the rubber, and the 1-2 fastball is low. 2-2 the count. Homer tells you that he is a country boy, a down-home Texan. One of the things he loves to hunt is wild boar, and he's actually hunted boar that weighed up to 400 pounds, and they are vicious animals. 2-2 pitch on the way, and Raphael takes low ball 3, 3-2. Homer Bailey grew up on his family's 70,000 chicken farm, 40 acres. And as he said, I'm never in the house, never watching TV. I'm out in the woods or playing baseball. 3-2 pitch on the way to Raphael for a call, and that swung on and lined into left field, base hit. So sitting on a fastball, he got it and singles to left, and that will bring up Orlando Hudson. As far as the Reds defensively, we'll take a look at them now. Votto and Rosales, Yanish and Encarnacion, Gomes, Taveras and Hairston, and the battery of Bailey and Hannigan. So Raphael for call at first. Orlando Hudson, who scared everybody Sunday when his left hand hit the lower back of Russ Ortiz, and then it bent backwards and he hurt his left wrist. And everybody was frightened that it was going to be the return of the serious wrist injury that he had last year in Arizona. But here he is after missing one game. Hitting .292, and he takes the first pitch low, ball 1. 1-0 the count to Orlando. 7 home runs, 49 runs batted in. Taking a long look at Larry Boa with for call at first. Hudson 7 for 13 when he was finally out at first base and hurt his wrist. So he's having a big homestand. Promptly swings right through a pitch, and the count 1-1. Dodgers might be very careful about running the bases. Last night, among other things, young Ryan Hannigan put on quite a show. He started out, he threw out Russell Martin in the 4th inning, Casey Blake in the 5th inning. Later on, he got Martin at third base in the 7th inning. I mean, he was a one-man gang last night. 1-1 pitch on the way. There goes for ball, and the pitch fouled away as Hudson check swing, fouls it off to the left, and a 1-ball 2-strike count. For Orlando, Hudson and Raphael for call, both checking with Larry Boa to see if they're going to put a play on, with Manny Ramirez waiting on deck. So Boa has gone through his gyrations. Orlando back up to the plate and waiting. 1-2 the count to the All-Star. Bailey hands it aside, looks in to get a sign. For call off the bag, held on by Joey Votto. And the right-hander set. Bailey delivers. Fastball punched up along third, foul. And it remains 1-2. When Homer Bailey was in high school, he was just too big for the room. I mean, he was 14-0. His earned run average was less than half a run. He was averaging 19.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. I mean, that was overpowering. He was the Baseball America's High School Player of the Year. And then when it came time to be a first-round pick, he got a bonus of over $2 million, which is first-round pick money. Throw to first base and for call back on the bag. For the last couple of years, Homer Bailey has always been the #1 spot in the Cincinnati farm system. And finally, here he is. But the Reds have had a lot of trouble with their first-round picks. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Hudson, and he probably whacks it into right for a base hit. Charging it is Hairston to get it back to the infield, and for call stopped at second. So Orlando Hudson is 8 for 14 during this homestand. Dodgers at first and second, and the batter is Manny Ramirez. So for young Homer Bailey, I'm not sure which would be tougher, looking down at those vicious tusks of a wild boar, or facing Manny Ramirez with 2 on and nobody out at Dodger Stadium. Manny hitting .338 with 10 home runs, 31 runs batted in. Meanwhile, Dusty Baker, who saw a 3-0 lead evaporate last night, working on that toothpick. Out of a stretch goes Bailey, a fake throw. He started to throw. Rosales was at the bag, and then he realized he didn't have a play, so he just held on to the ball. So Furcal single to left, Hudson singles to right, and here is Manny. Last night, Ramirez had a 2-run home run and a single to center. Bailey delivers, and the fastball is low, ball 1, hitting 92 on the gun. Tomorrow night, sold out, and it will be Manny Ramirez bobblehead night. Always interesting how a player responds when he's being honored with a bobblehead, so we'll see what happens with Manny. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Bailey delivers, and that's swung on and hit in the air, foul or first out of play, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Homer Bailey's been in 5 games, and he has allowed 3 home runs. And of course, when Manny hit his home run last night, that meant home run number 537, passing Mickey Mantle. Next up in front of him, Mike Schmidt. 2 on, nobody out, first inning, no score. Out of a stretch goes Homer Bailey, looks at the runners. Now the 1-1 pitch on the way, and that's low and inside, ball 2, 2-1. We were talking about the Reds having trouble with first-round picks. You know, the last starting pitcher who proved that the Reds were right in drafting him, you have to go back 40 years to a great athlete, a left-hand pitcher by the name of Don Gullett, who later on became the Cincinnati pitching coach. Well, that's a long time between successful first-round picks. Manny fouls another one back, and they count 2-2. 7 of those taken, that's between Gullett and Bailey. Larry Payne, Steve Reed, Mark King, Scott Jones, Ty Howington, Jeremy Sowers, Chris Grueller. That entire group is still looking for victory number 1 in the major leagues. I mean, that's brutal, isn't it? So there's a lot riding on the success or failure of Homer Bailey. Homer, right foot on the rubber, looks down to get a sign. Of course, the Reds are in very good hands now, with Walt Jocketty as the general manager, Bill Bavasi as his assistant. A lot of very, very good people in the Reds front office. Now the 2-2 pitch on the way. Bailey's fastball is fouled away. You might very well question, well, when was the last first-round starter for Cincinnati to even win a game? Well, if you go back, it's only 15 years. To 1994, do you remember C.J. Nitkowski? He got the win. He was 1-3, by the way. So Bailey looks in to get a sign. Manny's fouling him off. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. 2 on, nobody out. First inning, no score. Bailey out of a stretch. Looks back to second. Right-hander ready and delivers low. Blocked nicely by Hannigan. So he's gone 3-2 to Manny Ramirez. So Bailey has made 17 pitches here in the first inning. And so far, Manny Ramirez has gotten 6 of the 17. So Homer in trouble here in the first inning. On deck, Andre Ethier. 3-2 the count. Bailey set, looks back at Furcal, just staring at him. Now the pitch to Manny, swung on, grounded just fair, inside third and down the line. In comes Furcal, in comes Hudson, and Manny's on his way to third, and he's in there standing as Johnny Gomes had trouble coming up with the ball in the left field corner. So the Dodgers jump out in front 2-0 on a triple by Manny Ramirez. He got a breaking ball that dipped low, and he pulled it down the line, and when it hit the left field base, it kicked away from Gomes. And by the time Johnny was able to get it back to the infield, why, Ramirez was standing at third with his first triple of the year. So Manny knocks in two. Dodgers lead 2-0. And with nobody out and a runner at third, Ethier, Blake, and Martin trying to pick him up. So young Bailey is in a mess already. Right-hander out of his stretch. Ethier hitting .257, pulls one to Votto. He'll go to the bag, and Ramirez will stay at third. So Ethier, a hard ground ball to first, one away, and the batter will be Casey Blake. So Andre Ethier grounding out before we had a chance to tell you that he's been swinging the bat well of late and had a double and a home run last night. Casey Blake hitting .282, 12 home runs, 57 runs batted in. 2-0 Dodgers in the first inning. Giants lost. Rockies are winning big. However, that's tightened up now. Rockies 4, Diamondbacks 3. They're in the sixth inning. First pitch to Casey Blake, in for a strike, and the count 0-1. For the Reds, a team that does not have that much of an offense, it is very difficult when they fall behind, especially early. Infield is halfway. Casey takes a pitch off the plate, and the count 1-1 strike. And among other things, Dusty Blake, he lost Jay Bruce, who had 18 home runs. Bruce with a broken wrist. He lost his catcher, Ramon Hernandez, and he has benched Brandon Phillips. We'll tell you more about that when we get to the second inning. 1-1 pitch, swung on and missed. Casey going after a pitch up, and it must have looked something like a basketball to him as he tried to uppercut it. Homer Bailey, right foot on the rubber. Ramirez walking down the line from third. And the 1-2 pitch on the way. Homer's fastball hit to short. Holding at third is Ramirez, and the out recorded at first. So Bailey not bending to the pressure at all. Got Ethier, now he gets Blake, and Ramirez is still at third, and the batter will be Russell Martin. By the way, in looking at Homer Bailey and looking at his uniform number, when Homer Bailey made his major league debut, they gave him number 34. He didn't request it. It was the equipment manager, who was a big fan of Nolan Ryan, and the equipment manager said, I want this young man to wear that number 34. Among other things, number 21, Roger Clemens, that number was taken. The pitch to Russell Martin is low, 1 and no strikes. Martin swinging the bat very, very well now, hitting .264, 2 home runs, 28 runs batted in. Martin had another big night last night, 3 singles and a walk. Martin hitting .417 during the stand, fouls the next pitch away, and the count 1-1 strike. So in the inning, Rafael Furcal slapped a 3-2 pitch in left field for a base hit. Orlando Hudson followed with a single to right. Manny Ramirez went 3-2, and on the 7th pitch pulled a triple into the left field corner, scoring Furcal and Hudson. Ethier and Blake couldn't pick him up, and here is Martin, 1-1 strike. Homer Bailey looks down to get a sign from Ryan Hannigan. Outfield is split, a gap in left and left center. The 1-1 pitch, Martin hits a roller to short. Giannis is up with it, throws over to first, and that's it. So a nice bit of pitching by young Bailey. After giving up that triple, he shuts down Ethier, Blake, and Martin, and the Dodgers settle for 2 and lead 2-0. Dodgers lead 2-0 at the end of an inning. If you play this game professionally, and even if you play it on an amateur level, and things aren't going your way, you just do something to change. Well, case would be Randy Wolf. For most of the year, Randy wears his pants all the way down to the ankles. However, after pitching so well last time out against Houston and losing, he's 4-4 with 12 no decisions. He took the mound tonight, and those pants are tucked up high at the knee. Old-fashioned look where you see all of the solid blue stockings. One other thing we want to check, we need a close-up later on to see whether Randy Wolf had shaved or not before the game. Remember last time out, he was clean shaven. And his first pitch in for a strike to Johnny Gomes. So Randy Wolf, like so many others, and yep, he is not shaved tonight. And that's more like it. It was a little surprising to see him clean shaven last time. Strike one pitch on the way is low and inside. Usually close shave and then you perspire and face might sting a little bit. So most of the fellas don't shave before a game. Johnny Gomes, born in San Francisco, lives in Petaluma, and drives one to the gap in right center, and Ethier is watching this one go into the seats for a home run. So Johnny Gomes, hitting .304, hits his 7th home run over the wall, and just like that, Dodgers 2 and the Reds 1. Johnny has an older brother, Joey, who's in the Padres system. Before the game, I know Johnny Gomes was visiting with Andre Ethier down on the field, and then Ethier had to watch his buddy hit one into the seats over his head. So 2-1 in favor of the Dodgers. The batter now is Edwin Encarnacion, and he fouls it away. 0-1 the count. By the way, for Randy Wolf, that would be the 17th home run that he has allowed. Left-hander ready in the strike one pitch. Encarnacion takes a strike, and the count 0-2. Encarnacion followed by the catcher, Ryan Hannigan. The next pitch, a check swing. They look down at first. No swing, says Chris Guccione. And a 1-ball, 2-strike count to Edwin Encarnacion, who was out with a bad wrist for quite a while. Big fella with 4 home runs, 15 runs batted in. He hits one down the right field line, coming over as Ethier, but it's going to drop for a base hit. So Encarnacion, a little flare fly ball tucked in nicely down the right field line. So home run and single, and the batter will be Ryan Hannigan. So Encarnacion at first base. Encarnacion is 1 for 2 in stolen bases. Hannigan, who was so impressive catching last night and throwing, did go 0 for 3. Was hit in the back of the helmet last night by Jason Schmidt in the 2nd inning. But thank goodness it was in the back and hit the helmet flush. Randy Wolf set at the belt, working on the right-hand hitting catcher, and it's a strike, and the count 0-1. To break down Randy Wolf's home runs, he's allowed 17, 16 by right-hand batters. One lefty took him downtown for a home run. That would be Brad Hobb of Colorado. 0-1 the count to Hannigan. Adam Rosales on deck. Throw to first, and Encarnacion back on the bag. Hannigan was born in Washington, D.C. and lives in Andover in Massachusetts. Hannigan will be 29 in the middle of August. Next pitch to him, big slow curveball in for a strike. So immediately no balls and 2 strikes the count to Ryan. He has never changed positions. When he first started as a tot to play Little League, he was a catcher, and he has never come out from behind the plate. In college, he was undrafted. He went to Rollins College in Florida. Here's the strike 2 pitch on the way. Randy Wolf delivers. Big overhand breaking ball, but not much to it, and it was way outside. 1-2 the count. Hannigan, basically a line drive hitter and doing all right, hitting .321. Last year he hit .271. Never had a lot of home runs. Highest way back in the low minors, he had 5. 1-2 the count. Randy looks over at first. Back he comes with a fastball hit to right field, but that's at Ethier for the catch. And holding on at first is Encarnacion. Interesting, when we looked at the Cincinnati lineup tonight, could not believe that Brandon Phillips was not in the lineup. Brandon Phillips, a Gold Glove second baseman, has a career batting average against the Dodgers of .341, and then last night he went 3 for 4, and we thought, wow, he must be hurt. He had a bad finger back in May, and we thought maybe something happened last night. No, that is not the story at all. We'll tell you about it in a moment now, as Randy Wolf throws to first and Encarnacion dives back. In the first inning last night against Jason Schmidt, Taveras tripled, Hairston doubled, Votto singled, and that brought up Brandon Phillips. He hit a fly ball to right field that Andre Ethier lost in that powder blue sky. The ball landed at Ethier's feet, and when Phillips realized it, he then took off to second base, but he was not running hard at all from home plate. So when Ethier threw into for call, the ball was waiting for Phillips, and he was out. And he was not only out, but his manager, Dusty Baker, was livid. The pitch of the plate is outside, 1-1 to Rosales. Well, anyway, Dusty even thought about taking Phillips out right then and there in the first inning for not hustling. Then decided, no, I'll wait till the end of the game, talked to him, and then told him, you're not playing tomorrow. I am really angry because it's happened apparently several times. 1-1 pitch on the way, fouled off, 1-2. What Brandon Phillips said was simply, when I hit the ball, my first thought was, darn it, I missed it. I guess it was a pitch he thought he could have really driven. So he dropped his head and he was jogging to first base with his head down. And Dusty Baker said, you don't jog. You run as hard as you can. You never run with your head down. And anyway, whatever that means to the modern day player. You're not going to play today. Oh, really? What a punishment. The 1-2 pitch fouled away. For Brandon Phillips, who is out there most of the time, they will miss him if he doesn't play. I mean, he makes a lot of money and many millions of dollars, so he has the day off. But Dusty just had to do it, not just for Phillips, but for everybody else on the club. Okay, 1-2 the count to Rosales. 2-1 in favor of the Dodgers. The next pitch is a little high, and the count goes to 2-2. So Rosales has a look down to Mark Berry coaching at third. Adam is from Chicago. Went to school at Western Michigan. Now the 2-2 pitch. Slow curveball, and that's pulled foul outside of third and down the line. Rosales can play a lot of positions on the infield. He can play first, second, short, third. He's playing second base tonight. Grew up at Wrigley Field, Chicago. So Rosales waiting, only 26. Came up to the Reds last year for the first time in the big leagues. So-called cup of coffee. He was in 20-some-odd games. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Out of a stretch goes Randy Wolf, and with 1 out goes to first. Encarnacion back on the bag. Dodgers got 2 in the first inning. If you just joined us, for Call and Hudson each singled, and Ramirez tripled them home. Messrs. Ethier, Blake, and Martin were unable to get Manny home from third. And then Gomes led off with a home run here in the second. So it is 2-1 in favor of the Dodgers, trying to beat the Reds for the 11th consecutive time. So Randy Wolf, not shaving, tucking the pants in at the knee, trying to change things around. And the 2-2 pitch coming up. Slow curveball lifted to right center. It's playable. Ethier is calling and makes the catch for the out. You know, the next Friday night fireworks show takes off this Friday after the Dodgers and the Marlins game. Dodgers invite all fans on the field for a spectacular show set to the music of the King, Elvis Presley. For tickets, call 866-DODGERS or visit Dodgers.com. 2 down, and Paul Janisch. The name begins with a J, but you pronounce it like a Y. And he takes the first pitch low, ball 1. So Janisch at the plate, hitting .228, 3 runs batted in. Right-hand batter. Now Randy's next pitch is just off the plate. 2-0 the count. Paul Janisch, he's from Cypress, Texas. Went to Rice University. That name Janisch is Czechoslovakian. 2-0 the count. Next pitch fastball, and that's off the plate. Ball 3. Janisch not only played shortstop at Rice, he also pitched, and they say he hit 94 on the gun, but they want him to play shortstop. 3-0 pitch on the way, and that's high. Ball 4. So Homer Bailey will be coming up. 2 on and 2 out, with the Dodgers leading 2-1. What has Homer done with the bat? Nothing. He's 0 for 9. He has made contact. He has only struck out 2 of the 9 times. So Bailey at the plate. And the first pitch to Homer Bailey, in for a strike, and the count 0-1. He gives you a very nice strike zone. He is 6'4". Homer, 23 years old. Strike 1 pitch on the way, and that's a breaking ball at his feet. Nice block by Martin on a pitch in the dirt, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. The Reds got a home run to lead off the second inning for Johnny Gomes after the Dodgers scored twice in the first inning. Now the 1-1 pitch on the way. Randy set, bends a curveball and a comebacker. Nice pick by Randy. He flips over to first, and that's that. For the Reds, they get 1 run, 2 hits. They leave 2, and at the end of an inning and a half, 2-1 Dodgers. Bottom of the second inning, Dodgers lead the Reds 2-1. It'll be James Loney, Matt Kemp, and then Randy Wolf. against the #1 pick by the Reds, young Homer Bailey. One thing about Homer that the scouts talk about, and that is his pitching delivery. And they think perhaps that he will have a problem the way he moves his arm. They call it, the scouts call it, an arm wrap. Some fellows talk about hooking the ball, but he'll drop that right arm with the ball and kind of bring it behind his back and then whip it up to the plate. Fastball in for a strike. And that motion behind the back as he's bringing the arm and ball back around to deliver, that could very well give him problems as far as his release point. And of course, successful pitchers have that same release point all the time. Over the top and flips this low, and he's a 1-ball 1-strike count on James Loney. So Homer Bailey working now, and on television we can watch the young 6'4" kind of hook the ball behind, bend the elbow, and then whip it around. The 1-1 pitch is taken low, ball 2, 2-1. Tell you who hooked the ball like that when he was with the Dodgers, Rick Sutcliffe. 2 balls and 1 strike. Homer Bailey working on Loney. It's 2-1 Dodgers, second inning. Homer flips a fastball in for a strike, hitting 90 on the gun, and the count 2-2. Loney so far struggling during the Astros series, and then again last night. He's 2 for 12. Did have a base hit last night and walked twice. Two and 2 the count as Loney in and out of the box. Not quite ready to check back in again. Now Bailey looks over the fingertips of his glove, goes into his windup, and the 2-2 fastball is grounded up the middle for a base hit. So Loney leads off with a single, going after the fastball. You know, you talk about a first-round pick, and you always figure that a first-round pick throws the ball very, very hard, and Bailey certainly can be considered a power pitcher. But most pitching coaches will tell you that a power pitcher becomes powerful when he learns to throw a changeup. And of course, for Bailey, that's the pitch he is really working on. And of course, he's just starting out. So fastballs have hurt him. Here's Matt Kemp. He takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Kemp continues to amaze, hitting 8th in the lineup most of the time, batting .322 with 12 home runs, 53 runs batted in. Boy, if you're a visiting manager and you look at the Dodger lineup, it really has to shake you up. Matt has a pitch off the plate, 1 ball and 1 strike. Kemp last night was 1 for 3. He was also hit by a pitch. And during this homestand, he's hitting .357 and hitting almost .440 for 2 weeks. 1-1 pitch on the way. And that's high and away. Ball 2, 2-1 the count. That looked like a cutter. If it wasn't, it just had some late life to it. He throws a pretty big curveball, fastball, working on the change. Mario Soto worked with him on his changeup. You remember that name? Mario, very successful pitcher with the Reds. 2-1 the count to Matt Kemp. On deck, Randy Wolf. Bailey a look at Loney. Now comes to the plate, down and away. And he's fallen behind 3-1. So his trouble started with the very first hitter. He went 3-2 to Furcal. Came with a fastball. Rafael single to left. Then Hudson single to right. Then Ramirez 3-2. Hit one into the left field corner for a triple. Now let's see if the Dodgers run Loney 3-1. Bailey hands together. Slides into the shirt front just a tad. Loney does not go. And the pitch in for a strike to Kemp. And the count 3-2. Giants lost. The Rockies were winning, but that game is now tied up. The D-backs and the Rockies 4-4, and they're in the 7th inning. 3-2. We'll see if Loney goes for sure now. Bailey ready. Loney does not go, and the ball is whacked to left field, down the line and gone. And the Dodgers lead 4-1. And another 3-2 fastball, and Homer Bailey pays the price. So Matt Kemp buries one about 7 rows back alongside the Dodger bullpen, and it rattled around amongst the customers out there. For Matt Kemp, his 13th home run. He now has 55 runs batted in. Not a bad deal for a number 8 hitter in the lineup, huh? So it is 4-1 Dodgers, and Bailey is really paying a price of a 3-2 fastball. And the pitch now to Randy Wolf off the plate, ball 1. So Homer has just had that happen as Matt Kemp takes him downtown. The 1-0 pitch, Randy takes low, ball 2, 2-0 the count. So the Dodgers 2 in the first, 2 in the second, lead the Reds 4-1. Now the 2-0 pitch coming up. Tall right-handed delivers, gets a strike, and the count 2-1. Staying with fastballs against Randy Wolf. Tomorrow night, Bronson Arroyo and Chad Billingsley. Battle of 2 right-handers. Arroyo has won 10. Billingsley has won 9. And there's a line drive base hit into center field for Randy Wolf. And you guessed it, another fastball. And now Dick Pohl, the veteran pitching coach, going out to the mound to talk to young Homer Bailey. So Dick seems like he's been coaching in the big leagues forever. Arroyo will be on that hill tomorrow night. Arroyo is 10-8. He has allowed 21 home runs. So Pohl has been to the mound quite often, and now he goes out to try and help out the young right-hander Homer Bailey. So Loney hit a single to center on a fastball. Kemp hit a 3-2 pitch in the seats for a home run fastball. Wolf got a fastball single to center, and here is for call. And his first pitch is a fastball low. For call on a 3-2 pitch. Hit a fastball for a base hit. So the young right-hander struggling, kind of a one-pitch pitcher, and he would indeed live up to that name, Homer, with one pitch. Right-hander comes back, fastball hit in the air to right center field. Coming over is Hairston to pick it off on the run, and Randy Wolf gets back to first base. So for call, a fly ball to right center, and the batter will be Orlando Hudson. Jerry Hairston Jr. doing a good job wherever they play him, just like his brother Scotty. Scott played against the Dodgers. He'll play second base, left field, center field. Jerry will do the same thing. So Orlando Hudson single to right in the first inning. Dodgers 4 runs, 6 hits. Reds 1 run, 2 hits. Orlando batting .294. Bailey ready, starts him, fastball, strike, 0-1. Orlando looks down to Larry Boa with 1 out. Randy Wolf at first, so you don't expect to see any kind of a base running play with the pitcher running. Strike 1 pitch to Orlando, and that's taken for a strike, and the count 0-2. Bailey throwing fastballs 91, 92. No balls and 2 strikes the count. Homer made 26 pitches in the first inning. His strike 2 pitch in the dirt with a fast, or maybe a splitter, though I didn't know he threw a splitter. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. Orlando out of the box, now back in again. 4-1 Dodgers, second inning. The 1-2 pitch to Orlando Hudson is poked on the ground to shortstop. The quick feed for one, and they turn it for two. So 6-4-3 double play. The Dodgers have to be content with two. Matt Kemp hitting a 2-run home run in the second inning on a 3-2 pitch. And at the end of two, Dodgers 4, Reds 1. Matt Kemp hits his 13th. The Dodgers get a quick two more, and at the end of two, lead 4-1. So the Reds will have Willie Taveras, Jerry Hairston, and Joey Votto in that order. You know, in looking at the Reds, and the Dodgers pushed them around last night and lead them tonight, they've played a couple of teams pretty well. For instance, they have split 10 with the St. Louis Cardinals, and the Cardinals are a good ball club, right? They have also beaten Houston 7 out of 10. Going up against a good Milwaukee team, they've lost 7, but they've won 5. So they can be difficult. And the first pitch to Taveras outside, ball 1-0. Willie, for a couple of years, led the majors in bunts. One year he had 37. The 1-0 pitch on the way, swung on foul back, and the count 1-1. 4 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. 1 run, 2 hits for the Reds. Taveras, born Christmas Day. Another pretty good base stealer was born on Christmas Day. You know who I'm talking about? Pitches high. 2-1. No, Ricky Henderson. He's a Christmas baby. 2-1 to count to Willie Taveras. Randy Wolf comes back. There's the bunt, foul back. That dropped by Taveras. 2-2. One thing, he had not been bunting very much because he had a tight hamstring. Because if he gets on base, I mean, he flies. Last year he stole 68 out of 75. That's the best ever. 91% success rate. Best since they've been keeping track of those things. 2-2 pitch on the way. Big slow curveball. See you later. Oh, what a pitch. And young Homer Bailey ought to look at that one and think about going to school on it. Big slow breaking ball, and Taveras was just locked in, the deer in the headlights, and down he goes. Second strikeout for the veteran Randy Wolf, and now Jerry Hairston. Hairston hit the ball to deep left center field, but it was caught by Manny Ramirez in the first inning. Jerry has 7 home runs, 26 runs batted in. He takes a breaking ball that dips in for a strike. 0-1 to Hairston. Gary, 33 years old, originally signed by the Baltimore Orioles out of Southern Illinois University, takes a hook off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Not only did his father play in the major leagues, so did his uncle John and his grandfather Sam. The Hairston's a great name in baseball. The 1-1 pitch pulled foul outside at third. His grandfather Sam played in the old Negro leagues in the 40s, and in 1950 his grandfather became the first black American to play for the Chicago White Sox. Spent 47 years in the White Sox organization. He was a coach with Birmingham, the Birmingham Barons. 1-2 pitch to Jerry. Fastball, check swing, foul, back to the screen. Still 1-2 the count. Hairston trying to get something started here in the third with 1 out. Dodgers leading 4-1. His uncle John, he played for the Cubs. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and that swung on, little flare right into the glove of Orlando Hudson. And we have 2 down here in the third inning with Joey Votto coming up. You know, time's running out to purchase a season ticket package for 2009. Dodgers invite fans to the stadium this Thursday from 9 to 5 to pick out their seats for the second half, secure their rights for the postseason. For more information, check Dodgers.com/open house or call 323-224-1365 as Votto takes ball 1, 1-0. We told you we were having trouble pronouncing Joey's hometown as he hits a fly ball to the gap. Here comes Manny on the dead run, reaches down and makes the catch, never breaking stride. Nice defensive play by Manny Ramirez in left center. His glove below his knee on the dead run, and he was just able to keep his balance and stay on his feet. And bottom of the third, 4-1 in favor of the Dodgers. Manny Ramirez making that fine running catch on the ball hit by Joey Votto, and Manny now leads it off and looks at a fastball low, ball 1. Fastball at 95. Manny hit a fastball and hooked it into the left field corner for his first triple of the year to drive in 2. And then Kemp hit a 2-run home run, and that's it. 4-1 Dodgers, bottom of the third. Bailey rocks into the windup. The 1-0 pitch, foul back to the screen. 1-1. We were talking about Joey Votto a minute ago and saying we were difficulty with his hometown. But with a little help from our friends in Canada, he's from a town, Etobicoke, which is the suburb of Toronto. Etobicoke. Okay. 1 ball and 1 strike to Manny Ramirez. Homer Bailey turns ready and his 1-1 pitch on the way inside and hits Manny in the bat. Manny drops the bat. I think it got him on the hand a little bit. The timeout for the moment. And of course it was a fastball. So far it would appear that Homer Bailey is Johnny One Note. It's just one fastball after another. And this time it got Manny on the hand. Joe Torre is out there. Plate umpire Tony Randazzo. Manny tried to bail out, but the fastball just sailed in on him and got him. For Ramirez, that would be only the second time that he's been hit by a pitch this year. And for Bailey, it would only be the third time he has hit a batter. Manny got it on the left hand, opening and closing the fingers, trying to get some feeling back in it. For Manny, he's been hit in his entire career 98 times. And that hurt. And of course, on the hand, the left hand, that's your bottom hand, so to speak. If you're a right-hand batter, that's a power hand to drive the bat through. And Juan Pierre is going to take over for him. So Pierre will run at first, and he gets an ovation from the crowd when they spot him going to the bag.
Attention, please. For the Dodgers, pinch running, number 9, Juan Pierre.
So Juan Pierre running for Manny Ramirez. And of course, the hand is such a complicated part of the body. There are so many little bones in the hand that any time a player gets hit on the hand, you have to really hold your breath. Orlando Hudson, of course, he had his wrist, which is another very, very dangerous area. And he is wrapped to make sure he has support. So we'll just have to wait about Manny. So Pierre at first and draws a throw. Pierre has stolen 23 out of 31. So the Dodgers lead 4-1 in the third inning. Andre Ethier grounded sharply to Joey Votto in the first inning. Andre 19 home runs, 58 runs batted in, and he takes low. 1 ball and no strikes. 4 runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers. 1 run, 2 hits for the Reds. Bailey looks down to get a sign from Hannigan. Now out of his stretch, and the 1-0 pitch on the way, and that's a fastball in the dirt all the way to the backstop, and Pierre goes to second. Well, in reading up on Homer Bailey, I mean, I was reading about how he was working on his changeup and this and that, but really it's just been one pitch, the same pitch all the time, and he's paying the price. It'll be a wild pitch. So 2-0 the count. Andre Ethier with Casey Blake on deck. Juan Pierre taking his lead. Right behind him is Paul Janisch, the shortstop. 2-0 pitch, and that's high. Ball 3. 3-0. Homer Bailey pushed around his last game, had done pretty well the previous 2, and he is struggling tonight. The 2-0 pitch on the way to Andre Ethier. Instead, pickoff play. They might have gotten Pierre, but the throw was high, and by the time Janisch reached up to get it to bring the tag down, Juan was back on the bag. Pretty good daylight. Yeah, better throw. A throw close to the bag, and they hang Pierre out to dry. And again, Pierre takes a bluff and just does get back again. What happens a lot of times as a pitcher looks in to get a sign, the catcher sees what's going on back at second base. That's the second time that Bailey has thrown high. Had he thrown down towards the bag, he'd have picked Pierre off for sure. 3-0 the count. Bailey looking back at the bag again. Now the 3-0 pitch deep here, and that's high. Ball 4. So just like that, 2 on, nobody out. Yeah, normally what happens, they call it the daylight play. And when the shortstop goes towards the bag, if the catcher sees daylight, they usually have a sign, and the pitcher who's concentrating on the catcher just whirls and fires. Unfortunately for Bailey, he whirled and fired twice high. So Pierre could easily have been picked off not once but twice. Instead, Juan is still there over at first, Ethier. So after a hit batter, a wild pitch, and a walk, Bailey is in the soup again, and the batter is Casey Blake. Blake grounded to short in the first inning. That's when the Dodgers were thoroughly frustrated. Ramirez had tripled in 2, but with nobody out, Ethier grounded to first, Blake rolled to short, Martin rolled to short, and they left Manny at third. Now the pitch to Casey Blake. Bailey delivers, and it's a fastball. Maybe we shouldn't just say fastball anymore. 1 ball and no strikes the count. I'm not making fun of him, believe me, but it's really been the story. He's been trying to throw the ball by the Dodger hitters. It's not working. 4 runs, 6 hits. Young right-hander sets up around the letters. The 1-0 pitch on the way to Casey Blake, and that's low and inside. Ball 2, 2-0. Dodgers picked up 2 runs on 3 hits in the first inning, 2 runs on 3 hits in the second inning, and they're after him now on a hit batter and a walk. Two balls and no strike. Blake 12 home runs, 57 runs batted in, and Casey hitting a solid .280. Blake during the homestand 0 for 1 tonight, so he's 4 for 18, hitting about .230. 2-0 pitch on the way, off speed, in for a strike. A big curveball, one of the rare that we've seen him throw, and he dropped it in there at 75. Homer checking, Casey waiting. Now the 2-1 pitch on the way, a dancing Pierre. Fastball in for a strike. 2-2. Waiting on deck, Russell Martin. Dodgers 4, Reds 1. Manny Ramirez hit on the left hand by a pitch. Had to leave. As soon as we get a report, we'll pass it along to you. Here's the 2-2 pitch coming up to Casey Blake. Right hand to Bailey, set. There goes Pierre, and the pitch fouled away. Pierre was just itching to run. He almost got picked off, but you had the feeling he wanted to motor, and he took off. The trailer was Andre Ethier, but Blake fouled it off. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two on, nobody out. 2-2 to Casey Blake. Votto behind Ethier, way off the bag, and the 2-2 pitch to Casey. Right-handed delivers, fastball grounded and picked nicely by Votto, who throws to his shortstop Giannis, who drops the throw, trying to come across the bag. It was a very tough play for Votto. Awkward throw, and it was just offline, but Giannis got his glove on the ball and then dropped it. For Dusty Baker, his return to Los Angeles is not exactly what he had in mind. Nice pick by Votto to his glove side, and then the throw. Giannis appeared to stumble going to the bag, lunging for the ball, and dropped it. So the Dodgers have the bases loaded with nobody out. We're waiting on the scoring, and the batter will be Russell Martin. Nothing put up there yet. So with the bases loaded, here's Martin, grounded to short in the first inning, and looks at a fastball strike. 0-1. So Pierre is at third, Ethier is at second, Blake is at first. They put up error, but we're not sure. Probably the error to Votto. It was a very tough play for Giannis to lunge for a throw that was offline. So with the bases loaded, Martin backs out. No balls and 1 strike to count. Russell Martin has 1 grand slam. He hit it 2 years ago against Pittsburgh. Oh, 0-1 the count. Out of a stretch goes Bailey, back and throws it in the dirt to the backstop. Everybody moves up 90 feet. Pierre brings in the run, and the Dodgers lead 5-1. And it was a fastball. I mean, Johnny one note, and the youngster who obviously got here with his fastball just bounces that thing, and it goes all the way back to the screen. So Blake goes to second. Ethier moves on to third. Pierre comes in to score. 5-1 Dodgers. By the way, on that play by Joey Votto, it was the throw that was offline, and they give Votto the error. So the Dodgers now second and third, still nobody out, and the 1-1 pitch fouled away. Another fastball. I mean, you could count the off-speed pitches, the curveball, certainly on both hands. 1-2 the count to Russell Martin with James Loney on deck. 5-1 Dodgers in the third. Trying to beat the Reds 11 straight here at Dodger Stadium. Trying to beat them 19 of 22. 1-2 pitch on the way, and Martin, it's a comebacker. Nice play by Bailey to throw him out, and the runners have to hold. He needed to be 6-4, and he went up and got it. Very nice play on the comebacker. And the batter will be James Loney. Matt Kemp on deck. So Ramirez hit on the hand. Pierre ran for him. There was a wild pitch. Ethier walked. Blake reached on the error. There was another wild pitch to score Pierre. So now with 1 out, second and third, here is Loney. Hitting .279, 7 home runs, 55 runs batted in. And on deck, Matt Kemp. Matt Kemp is not the number 8 hitter. Matt Kemp is the second number 4 hitter. And the pitch to Loney in for a strike. 0-1. When you have Kemp's numbers, when you have 13 home runs, 55 runs batted in, you're hitting about .325. You are not the 8th hitter. You are the second cleanup hitter. 0-1 to count to Loney. Bailey comes back in the dirt with the fastball, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. So Homer Bailey is going to school, and he might become a terrific pitcher one day, and we certainly hope so. Only 23 years old. Andre Ethier down the line from third. Casey Blake at second. 1 out, 1 ball and 1 strike to James Loney. Bailey out of a stretch, looks back at second. 1-1 pitch on the way, very high. That brought Hannigan out. Another fastball that got away, and he throws hard. I mean, he's throwing 93, but it's just one after the other. 2-1. Kind of talking to himself a little bit as he looks in to get a sign. And they all do that. 2-1 pitch. Off speed, whacked into right field. Fielded there by Hairston. 1 run is in. Here comes the second run. And the Dodgers now have deuces wild on the scoreboard. So the Dodgers piling on. After 2 wild pitches, they finally get a base hit to drive in 2. It's a 3-run inning, and it's 7-1 Dodgers as Matt Kemp is coming up. And that last pitch to Loney was not a fastball, but Matt Kemp got one and knew what to do with it. He hit it about 7 or 8 rows back alongside of the Dodger bullpen back in the 2nd inning. So 7 runs and 7 hits for the Dodgers, 1 run, 2 hits for the Reds. And for Bailey, who was trying to do it on 1 pitch, finally came with an off-speed breaking ball to Loney, and James whacked it into right field. So Jared Burton gets up in the Cincinnati bullpen, and Burton begins to warm up. 7-1 Dodgers in the 3rd inning. .68 pitches made by Homer Bailey. Kemp waiting, and they start him fastball low, ball 1, and he hits 94. Big sigh from Big Matt, hitting .324, 13 home runs, 55 runs batted in. The 1-0 pitch on the way, fastball low, ball 2, and he threw that at 95. So you can see the scouts looking at him in high school, averaging better than 19 strikeouts per 9 innings. Probably did it basically with all fastballs. Here's the 2-0 pitch on the way. Another fastball low. And they figure, okay, with that kind of an arm, we'll teach him. 3-0 the count to Matt Kemp. Would they dare throw the automatic 3-0 fastball? We'll see. 3-0 pitch, fastball, and Matt went after it, didn't get it. 95-mile-an-hour letter high fastball, and the count 3-1. No surprise that he was swinging 3-0. 3-1 pitch on the way. Bailey ready, back with a fastball, fouled away. 3-2. I don't think I've seen a big league pitcher in a while rely on 1 pitch constantly. Been a while. All right, 3-2. Remember, he was off speed with Loney. See what he does with Kemp. Last time 3-2 fastball, Matt hit it out. There goes Loney, and it's way inside. Fastball. So ball 4. And for Dusty Baker, an anxious night. He's already buried 7-1. The Reds offense is not that kind of a club to come back and score 8 or 10 runs. So it's a tough time for Johnny Lee. And the batter is Randy Wolf. 2 on, 1 out, 3 in. And the Dodgers lead 7-1. Randy shows bunt, pops it in the air, foul up along 3rd, and the count 0-1. What do they say in baseball? You never have enough pitching. Well, you never have enough runs. So Randy fouled the sacrifice off for the first time. He's pretty handy with the bat. He has 5 sacrifices. He also has 5 RBIs, 3 hits. Now the strike 1 pitch on the way. And that's high. They throw through, but diving back to second is Loney. 1-1. By the way, with all the fastballs, and I mean Bailey has just been one fastball after another, he has gotten only 2 strikes where the hitter swung and missed. 2. 1-1 pitch on the way, and that's low. Ball 2, 2-1. 2 balls and 1 strike to Randy Wolf. Now the 2-1 pitch coming up. Votto's right on top of him. The bunt is down up along third. Good bunt. So the sacrifice works, and the Dodgers move up to second and third. As Kemp goes to second, Loney goes to third, and Randy Wolf goes back to the dugout having done his job. So that'll bring up Rafael Furcal. He will be the 8th man to come up here in the 3rd inning. Rafael Furcal, single to left in the 1st inning, came around and scored on Manny Ramirez's triple, and then last time up fly to right. By the way, Manny's first triple as a Dodger, you know, he's had over 1,000 extra base hits, and it was only the 19th triple of his career, and his first as a Dodger. So Rafael takes inside, and that looked more like a breaking ball. They flashed fastball on the scoreboard, but that had some movement. Maybe that was the cutter. 0-1 the count. Bailey trying to hide the ball back of his right hip as he looks in. Dodgers at second and third, Loney and Kemp. And the strike 1 pitch, and that's in the dirt. Came over the top with a curveball, bounced that at 72. So you get the feeling that he really doesn't have any confidence in a breaking ball. He is not about to throw very many straight changes, so consequently, the youngster who has made 80 pitches, almost all fastballs. 1-1 the count. Homer ready. Furcal waiting. Fastball hit into left field. Base hit. 1 run is in. Here comes a runaway Matt Kemp, and he'll score. The ball gets away to the backstop, and down to second goes Furcal. And Rafael daring a throw to be made, but eventually goes back to second base. So the Dodgers pick up 2 more and lead 9-1. And it's really, you feel embarrassed for this young right-hander. One fastball after another. As we mentioned, only twice has a Dodger swung and missed the fastball. And he tried to get one by Furcal. And it's a 5-run inning, and Dusty Baker goes out, and you know Dusty thinking to himself, this kid might have it one day, but not tonight. There is no way you can pitch in the big leagues with only 1 pitch. But it's a learning experience. He is only 23, and he will be back. Dodgers right now lead 9-1. We'll be back. Right now 9-1 at the expense of the young right-hander Homer Bailey. And now Jared Burton comes out of the pen to pick up. The Dodgers will go to Cincinnati for a 3-game series, the very end of August, the 28th, 29th, and 30th. And it will be interesting indeed to see the progress of Homer Bailey if he pitches in that series, to see if he tries to do more than just throw the pitch by the Dodger hitter, see if he tries to mix it up more with breaking balls, change, etc. So it was, if nothing else, a learning experience tonight. And now Jared Burton. He's out of Westminster, South Carolina. Went to school at Western Carolina. And he has Rafael Furcal at second with 2 out, and Orlando Hudson at the plate. Orlando 1 for 2, takes a strike, 0-1. Burton came of age in college back in '02 when he pitched exceptionally well against powerhouse college clubs, Georgia Tech, Florida State, Clemson. The strike one pitch is a comebacker. Burton is on it, underhands to first, and just like that, the final out. But 9 men went to the plate. The odd man out was Homer Bailey, and the Dodgers lead 9-1. Dodger Baseball on KCAL 9 is brought to you by CarMax, the way car buying should be, and by Carl's Jr. Try a Carl's Jr. $6 burger made with 100% Black Angus beef. 4th inning with the Dodgers leading 9-1 at the expense of young Homer Bailey. 2 in the first, 2 in the second, and a high 5 in the third. Profiting by all the runs, Randy Wolf goes to work with Juan Pierre in left field, having already replaced Manny Ramirez on the base paths. Manny hit by a pitch on the left hand, and if we get a report, you'll have it. Johnny Gomes homered in the 2nd inning to account for the Reds' run. Gomes went to Santa Rosa Community College. Fastball at his feet, and it got him. So Gomes hit by the pitch, and the batter will be Encarnacion.
Third baseman,
9-1 Dodgers in the 4th inning. Encarnacion single to right in the 2nd inning. Edwin 1 for 1. Ball 1. And ball 2. Encarnacion is from a beautiful area in the Dominican Republic, La Romana. Very much of a resort. Originally drafted by the Rangers out of high school, fouled away. 2-1 the count to Encarnacion. Gomes at first. Hannigan on deck. 9-1 Dodgers, fourth inning. Fastball missed, ball 3. 3-1. That's down the pipe, 3-2. Randy's allowed 1 run, 2 hits. They were back to back. Gomes home run, Encarnacion single to right. His base hit to right was just a fly ball. This time a chopper to Hudson. The flip to Furcal. They throw the first, not in time. Johnny Gomes didn't bother going into a slide. He just stopped running right there. And Furcal had to throw it over Gomes' head and almost threw it over Loney's head. So a force play, 4-6. And the batter, Ryan Hannigan. We were talking about Manny Ramirez and the fact that he was hit on the side of his left hand and how complicated the hand is. They're going to take Manny to the hospital for precautionary x-rays because you never can tell the complex bone setup inside your hand. So they want to make sure he's okay. He was obviously 1-1 to count to Ryan Hannigan. So the Dodgers paying a bit of a price tonight. How much remains to be seen. 1-1 to Hannigan. Rosales on deck. A broken bat, a hopper to Furcal. Hudson will turn it. That'll be that. No runs, no hits. The Reds are history in the fourth. And at the end of 3 1/2, 9-1 Dodgers. Dodgers enjoying a commanding lead of 9-1, and they might also enjoy picking up another game in the standings in the West. The Giants lost, so it figures the Giants will trail the Dodgers by 9.5. Giants lost to the Braves 8-1, bowing to Derek Lowe, who was the winning pitcher. The Diamondbacks have come from behind. They lead the Rockies 6-5 in the 9th inning. So if the Rockies lose, the Dodger lead figured to be 9 over them. And here's Juan Pierre in what has become a walk in the park tonight. That's right. 1 ball and 1 strike to Juan, hitting .318, 25 runs batted in. Nine runs, 8 hits for the Dodgers, including 2-run home run by Kemp, 2 RBI triple by Ramirez, and Pierre hustling made that awfully close. Boy, Adam Rosales took his time, and Pierre almost beat that play. Well, we have a CarMax text question for you, and it is a dynamite question. Since the Dodgers are playing Cincinnati, it's rather appropriate, too. Do you think Pete Rose belongs in the Hall of Fame? Text your answer 86212. It'll be really interesting to see how you feel. So 1 away. Here's Andre Ethier. Ethier grounded out and walked. 0-1. Little slider up the end of the bat. Andre with the 19 home runs, 58 runs batted in. Facing Jared Burton, who was originally selected by the A's in the draft 7 years ago. That's bounced in the dirt. 1-1. Fastball and slider, that's what you get from Burton. Jared is 28 years old, 6'5", 230, and still lives in South Carolina. In 2003, he had surgery and missed a good portion. Meanwhile, deep right off the wall. Hairston picks it up on the second try, and Andre is into second base with a double. So the Dodgers 9 runs on 9 hits. Only Blake and Martin have drawn blanks, but we're only in the 4th inning. So Ethier cruises into second. That would be his 19th double. He has 1 triple and the 19 home runs. Casey is grounded to short and then reached on the error by Votto. That wrinkles in for a strike. 0-1 the count. Last year, left-handers hit .247 against him and right-handers .250, so he did well. Oh, 0-1. Drops that low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Interesting what will happen sometimes. Burton had surgery, signed him until and put him on the sidelines until July of 2004. But when he came back, it seemed that his fastball had more movement on it. That's a strike. And as he said, it's kind of weird. I had the surgery. I don't know what it was, but all of a sudden my ball started having that natural cut to it. And eventually I learned to command it. So out of painful experiences, sometimes good things happen. 1-2. Oh, great off-speed pitch, slider, and Casey was way out in front of it. Up there, and then just a nice dip to it. So 2 down, and Russell Martin coming up, grounded to short and hit back to the box. Dodgers scored 2 in the first, 2 in the second, and 5 in the third to break the game wide open. 9-1 Dodgers. And that's popped in the air, back of first, down the line, a trio over there, but right fielder Hairston puts it away, and that'll be that. A 1-out double by Ethier, but Andre is left at second. And at the end of 4, 9-1 Dodgers. By Lexus and the newly expanded IS line. Now there's one more way to live a little, a lot. And by Verizon Wireless, America's largest mobile-to-mobile calling family. Dodgers lead 9-1. Adam Rosales followed by Paul Janisch. And then the pitcher spot, Garrett Burton. And for Randy Wolf, he's allowed just one run, the home run by Johnny Gomes, and a total of 2 hits. The Braves beat the Giants 8-1. The D-backs have just defeated the Rockies 6-5. So the Dodgers are really in the tall clover. They lead the Rockies by 9 and the Giants by 9.5. Dodgers on verge of winning their 60th game. That's fouled away. Dodgers would go 11-5 in this month. Dodgers were 25 games above 500 5 years ago. Remember when Steve Finley hit that dramatic home run against the Giants and the Dodgers clinched the West? They were 25 games up. The last Dodger club to go 26 games over the break-even point was the 1991 squad, which was 92-66 on October 1. And the last time the Dodgers were 27 games over 500, that was the most memorable year in a while, 1988, the championship year. Rosales flied to right in the second inning. Adam 0 for 1. Slow curveball. Rosales, Janisch, and Burton spot, and I don't think that Baker wants to burn up a lot of pitching, though you would expect Jared Burton to come up and bat and chew up some innings. 1-2. Fastball, but he missed. 2-2. Young Homer Bailey, sadder but wiser, gave up all 9 runs. 2 2/3 inning. Fastball fouled upstairs. Randy's fastball 85, 86. Occasionally he might get up close to 90. Bailey throwing fastballs that were up to 93. 2-2. Fastball popped up for call, going out and calling. 1 away. The batter will be Paul Janisch, who walked in the second inning. 1 ball and no strikes. That evens it up 1-1. Two and one. Paul out of Texas. 5th round pick by the Reds 5 years ago. And he lifts one back or first down the line, slicing foul, and will go back into the stands. So Messrs. Ethier and Loney and Hudson go back to their positions. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. Giannis 6'2", 190. He'll be 27 in October. Not only a good baseball player, they say he's a very good juggler. Fastball, he was sitting on it, pulled it foul. 2-2 to Paul Giannis. Turned him around. He just did get out of the way of it. Ball 3. 4 years ago, Giannis was in a terrible collision at first base. Shut down and underwent Tommy John surgery. Ground ball to the hole. Backhanded by Furcal. Sets for the throw and got him. So 2 down. Nice play. And I'll tell you who made a nice play. James Loney. A lot of first basemen can do it with a straight face. They actually catch the ball and come off the bag, and you really have to be careful, or they'll get away with pulling one on you. And that was close. Watch Loney. You catch it kind of in the act. The first base umpire, Chris Guccione, didn't give you that big powerful out. I think Chris was wondering, did he or didn't he? But every first baseman learns to do that. 2 down. Garrett Burton up there, as we said, he's going to stay in there for the club. Reds have been buried 9-1, and they don't want to burn up the bullpen. Foul back. Randy trying to get to his 5-4 mark. Came in as a heavy favorite against the Reds. He is 8-2 lifetime against them. Breaking ball just missed. Randy didn't shave tonight. Tucks the pants in at the knee. Different image than last time out. Tell you what, with a 9-1 advantage, if it stays like this and he picks up the victory, you're looking at the way he will look in his next start. Absolutely. Fastball. Set him up. Breaking ball. Strikes him out with a fastball. The Reds are gone in order. And at the end of 4.5, 9-1 Dodgers. ready to pitch to James Loney, Matt Kemp, and Randy Wolf. Randy Wolf, by the way, has made 80 pitches in 5 innings, 16 pitches an inning. Loney is 2 for 2. Single to center, single to right, scored twice. Jared Burton ready to work the bottom half of the Dodger lineup. Bottom of the 5th inning, 9-1 Dodgers. They've had a triple from Manny Ramirez. They had a double from Andre Ethier, and they had a home run from Matt Kemp. Strike. 0-1. James hitting .281 in the dirt, so they put a new ball in play. 1 ball and 1 strike. Dodgers trying to make it 11 out of 16 in the month of July. Trying to beat the Reds 11 straight here at Dodger Stadium. Trying to beat the Reds 19 out of the last 22. The Reds, by the way, are a break-even 5-5 against the Western Division, and actually Dusty had a game edge until he lost last night. Dodgers are 30-12 inside the division, which is why they're now leading the Rockies by 9 and the Giants by 9.5. 1-2. 2-2. New supply of balls being brought up. Tomorrow night, Bronson Arroyo, a 10-game winner against Chad Billingsley, who is trying to win his 10th. Then Thursday is an off day, and then the weekend, the Florida Marlins. Dodgers went to Florida earlier this year and won 2 out of 3. And one of the truly outstanding young players with the Florida Marlins, their shortstop, Hanley Ramirez. Boy, can that kid play. 3-2. Popped in the air, foul off third, and Encarnacion to take a look, but that's all. Well back into the crowd, and what a kangaroo bounce that was. Over 48,000 last night, so the Dodgers have drawn a little over 2 million. 2,010,000. The Reds are 1,100,000. And again, a reminder, tomorrow night, Manny Ramirez bobblehead night, and it is sold out. Line foul down the line. That would be a tough blow. That would be disappointing, let's face it, to a lot of people, to come to see Manny Ramirez and he can't play if he has that sore left hand. That'd be a tough break, and no pun intended. Yep. Tomorrow night's his night. Started out to be his night tonight when he tripled in 2. 3-2. And that's whacked into right field. So Loney has a 3-hit night. He's 3 for 3. For the Dodgers, they pick up another base hit, and the batter is Matt Kemp. 9 runs, 10 hits for the Dodgers, 1 run, 2 hits for the Reds. Matt Kemp hit a 2-run home run on a 3-2 pitch in the 2nd inning, and walked, scored a run in the 3rd. So Matt's 1 for 1, knocked in 2, scored 2. Matt batting .324. Fastball jumps in there, 0-1. Way out in front of a slider, and a 0-2 count to Matt Kemp. The Reds have a terrific closer if they can ever get the ball to him, and that would be Francisco Cordero. Cordero has saved 22 out of 23, but of course he's looking for a job. You're not going to see him in a 9-1 game. Little flare to right field, sliced, caught by Hairston, and back to the bag goes Loney. You know, Saturday sports and entertainment collide on the field. The Hollywood Stars softball game, presented by Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. You can enjoy softball at 5, Dodgers and Marlins at 7:10. For tickets, call 866-DODGERS or visit Dodgers.com/Hollywood. 1 out, and Randy Wolf at the plate. Strike. 0-1. Randy singled to center in the second inning and sacrificed in the third. Has always been a pretty good hitting pitcher. He has 5 runs batted in this year, and drives one to right and deep. That's over Hairston's head. It's going to hit the base of the wall. Came right back to him. Here comes Loney to the plate, and he will score on a booming double by Randy Wolf. Just missed hitting a home run, and the Dodgers lead 10-1. So Dandy's 6th run batted in. It'll hit the base of the box seats over the head of Hairston right there. But he made a nice play and made it close at the plate. So Randy's second hit. He's 2 for 2 with a run batted in. It is a walk in the park for the Dodgers tonight, leading 10-1. And the batter will be Rafael Furcal. 10 runs, 11 hits for the Dodgers, 1 run, 2 hits, and 2 errors for the Reds. One ball and no strikes. Dodgers with 11 hits. Blake and Martin are on the outside of the candy store looking in. Everybody else has at least 1. Rafael 2 for 3. Fastball strike. For Randy Wolf, throughout his long and distinguished career, that would be his 24th double. By the way, he has 4 home runs in his career as well. So it's really no surprise when he gets a base hit. And he has 2 of them tonight. 1-1. And that's driven down the right field line. If it's fair, it's gone. It is gone. And the Dodgers lead 12-1. Rafael Furcal hits one out, his 5th home run of the year. Dodgers add 2 as if they need it. It is 12-1 Dodgers on a dozen hits, and the batter is Orlando Hudson. So Jared Burton has given up 3 here in the 5th inning. Little ground ball. Votto will pick it up and take it to the bag for the 2nd out. So Wolf and Furcal combined for a quick 2. Dodgers lead 12-1. Randy Wolf will never shave again before a start, and he will never have his pants down around his ankles. I don't think so. Juan Pierre took over as a runner after Manny was hit on the hand. He's had one at bat and grounded out. Strike. 0-1. Dodgers 12 runs, 12 hits. Reds 1 run, 2 hits. 0-2 the count. Most runs allowed by Cincinnati this year. The 6th of July at Philadelphia, they gave up 22 runs. So this is nothing. That'll do it for Pierre. Dodgers wind up with 2 runs. And at the end of 5, it's 12-1 Dodgers. On this day in 1975, Joe was playing for the New York Mets. The second baseman was a fellow named Felix Millan. 4 times Felix Millan got a base hit. 4 times Joe Torre came up and hit into a double play. Let's go back to this one. Dodgers in the so-called laugher. Of course, the Reds don't think there's anything funny about it at all. They got here with talent and pride, and it hurts to be pushed around. Little ground ball. It'll be picked by Furcal to get him. Blake DeWitt just got into the game, started to go after the ball, and then let Furcal take care of it.
Right fielder, number 15, Jerry Hairston Jr.
Jerry Hairston will be coming up. One out, 6th inning, 12-1 Dodgers. The only thing about this game for the Reds, it is thoroughly forgettable. Over the course of 162, there were just going to be games like this. Not like the one in Philadelphia where they gave up 22 runs. But these are a lot easier to forget, except, let's say, if you're Homer Bailey. But then again, it's all part of his education. For those games you lose by 1 run, blow it in the 9th inning, those are the ones that take their toll. 1-1 the count to Gary Hairston with Joey Votto on deck. Randy trying to win his 5th. Big slow curveball, just dropped it low. 2-1. That's popped in the air foul. Loney has a play. 2 out in the 6th inning, and Joey Votto coming up. Here's a look at our CarMax text message voting. Remember, we asked, do you think Pete Rose belongs in the Hall of Fame? So far, 62% of you say yes. Text your answer, 86212 on your cell. We'd like to know how you think. Votto has struck out, lost a base hit in the 3rd inning on a fine running catch by Manny Ramirez. Unfortunately for Manny, he then led off the bottom of the 3rd, and he was hit on the back of the left hand by a fastball and had to come out. Fouled away. 1-1 to Joey. From Etobicoke, a suburb of Toronto. One ball, one strike. That's in there. Breaking ball jumped on the corner. Tried to start a breaking ball, throwing it at Votto, hoping it could drift in and catch the corner, but it didn't do it. So 2-2. Randy had made 80 pitches through 5 innings, and he has 2 out in the 6th. Fastball lifted to left. Pierre is there. So another 1-2-3 inning. The Reds have had 1 inning where they had more than 3 batters. That was in the 2nd. Otherwise 1-2-3, and it's 12-1 Dodgers. Dodger Baseball on KCAL 9 is brought to you by Infinity, luxury cars that inspire at every turn. And by Panda Express, home of the world-famous orange chicken. 12-1 Dodgers, bottom of the 6th inning. A double switch for Dusty Baker. And even though the Reds are down 12-1, Dusty is still battling as the competitor that he is. So Drew Sutton takes over, and he will bat in the 9th spot. And Daniel Herrera will bat in Hairston's spot. 12-1 Dodgers. We saw Herrera last night. Pitched the 8th inning, gave up a walk and a base hit. Nothing else. So it's been Bailey, Burton, and Herrera. Hit down the line, foul, and out of play. Andre Ethier grounded to first, walked, scored a run, double to right. 1 for 2, hitting .258. Andre 19 home runs, 58 runs batted in. 1-2. Herrera only 5'8". You don't see very many little pitchers in the big leagues. Maybe you see them around the infield, short and second, but not usually on the mound. And he may weigh 145. He's not a big man at all. Out of Odessa, Texas. He was drafted in a very high round, the 45th round by the Rangers. Somebody saw something that they really liked, and here he is. That's a cracked bat, I think. Yep, fouled away, but he'll have to get another bat. As a bad hitter, I can always hear that cracked bat. Anyway, Daniel Herrera, selected by the Rangers, and the Reds made a deal. You know who they sent to get Daniel Herrera? Josh Hamilton. Whoa. Daniel with that hat pulled right down over his eyebrows. Just off the plate, 2-2. One of the top pitchers in the American League for many years, way back, 40s and 50s, Bobby Shantz. 2-2. Floated that thing up there, and it's a fly ball to left field. You will be relieved to know, I'm sure, whether you root for the Dodgers, the Reds, or anybody else, just as one human being worrying about another. The x-rays on Manny's hand, negative, and he is listed as day to day. So that's good news for all concerned. Herrera got Ethier on what I believe was a screwball. Now he starts Blake DeWitt. Misses with a fastball, 1 ball and no strikes. One and one. Blake hitting 143 with a home run, a run batted in. Russell Martin hitting back of him. Hit up the middle, across and behind the bag comes Giannis to throw him out. Nice play by Paul. 2 out in the 6th inning. So with 2 out, we can look at the Dodgers schedule for a moment. Remember, tomorrow, Bronson Arroyo, Chad Billingsley join us on Prime Ticket because that game is sold out. And then Thursday an off day, and here come the Marlins. Friday night, Josh Johnson and Clayton Kershaw. Saturday night, Van der Herk and Kuroda. And then the concluding game of the series and the homestand for the Dodgers against Florida, as Billingsley sits alongside Jason Schmidt. Big night for, well, there's 3 of the pitchers. Pitchers always huddle together. I've always been convinced they not only huddle together, they exchange information, and even on their own hitters, because after all, their own hitters can be traded, or they can be traded, and they're always saying, how would you pitch to this guy? How would you, right now, they might have been saying, how do you pitch to Martin? Little ground ball, so Herrera does a very good job. Quick, 1, 2, 3, and at the end at 6. Dodgers 12, Reds 1. responsibly. Buy Subway. Don't settle for ordinary fast food. Stop at Subway. Eat fresh. And by your Southern California Jeep dealers. It's been all Dodgers ever since the first inning when Manny Ramirez tripled home for Call and Hudson. Not only has it been all Dodgers on the scoreboard, where they lead 12-1, the Reds have gone out in order every inning but the second. In the second inning, they had a home run, a single, and a walk, but they still only wound up with one run. So in the seventh, Gomes, Encarnacion, and Hannigan in that order. Bronson Arroyo and Chad Billingsley tomorrow night. And of course, Billingsley wishing he could put some runs in escrow, but that's not the way it goes. Gomes homered, hit by a pitch. Foul, a fastball back, 0-1. Randy Wolf made 91 pitches coming into the seventh inning. Slow and hit off the end of the bat for Call. Throws him out. Big slow curveball. That was cued down to short, right out of a pool hall. One away. Edwin Encarnacion single to right, hit into a force play, 1 for 2. And somewhere young Homer Bailey should be watching a pitcher like Randy Wolf, who is all pitcher. And when you see Randy throw a sneaky fastball at 87, then a 60 some odd mile an hour curveball like that, that's that big slow curve at 65. You get the idea of how the job's going to be done in the big leagues. 0-2. As we mentioned earlier, power pitchers develop, really, they all are born with that fastball, but when they start learning change of speeds, then they really become powerful. 2-2. Ryan Hannigan on deck. And see you later. Craig Tatum, who was just called up, Encarnacion saying that wasn't a strike, but he walks away. 2 down, and instead of Hannigan, Craig Tatum, who was called up yesterday, will get his feet wet now. For Tatum, I believe this will be his major league debut. He is 6 feet 225. He is 25 years old, make it 26 now, from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Went to school at Mississippi State. Little ground ball to third, so he sure didn't hang around a long time. DeWitt throws him out, and that's that. So Tatum, first ball swinging, rolls out, and at the end of 6 1/2, it's 12-1 Dodgers, and the crowd will stand and sing God Bless America and then take me out to the ball game.
The Reds change their battery.
12-1 in favor of the Dodgers, and the Reds change the battery. Craig Tatum, who batted for Ryan Hannigan, stays in behind the plate, and the veteran right-handed David Weathers comes out of the bullpen. Weathers has had a wonderful career.
Number 7, James Looney.
David will be 40 the 25th of September. He was originally signed by the Blue Jays in 1988. Came up with the Jays, then he went to the Marlins and the Yankees and the Indians, then the Reds, the Brewers, the Cubs, then the Mets, the Astros, back to the Marlins, then the Reds. David Weathers, remarkable career. Ball one. James Loney hitting .283. David's out of Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. And he has an amazing arm when you realize he's been pitching professionally for over 20 years. And over the last 10 years, he leads all major league pitchers in appearances. This would be well over 650 for him. This year, Weathers has been in 37 more games. So for Dusty Baker, he has the youthful Tatum behind the plate and the veteran David Weathers on the mound. 2-2 the count. Tatum on the second strike threw the ball down to third, thinking it was strike three. So in his major league debut, you can understand he's fighting a lot of emotion, I'm sure. 1-2. So what a contrast. The catcher is making his major league debut, I believe. He certainly was not on the club going into this game. Handing a 40-year-old and David Weathers, you got to be nervous calling pitches. Fouled away. Still 2-2. Dodgers scored 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 5 in the third, and then for good measure added 3 more. (12-1). We're in the bottom of the 7th. Foul back. For the Reds, they'll have Rosales, Yanish, and Sutton due up in the 8th inning. And then tomorrow night we start fresh and clean on a new page. Bronson Arroyo and Chad Billingsley. Chad's been struggling, and I'm sure he's thinking, boy, would I love to have 12 runs tomorrow. Bronson Arroyo is 10-8. The opposition is hitting .284 against Arroyo, and he has an earned run average of 5. How's Weathers doing? The opposition is hitting only .205 against him. He really is a marvel. Squirted slowly. Tough play, and it is made. So Yanish comes up with a good play to take care of Loney, and that will bring up Matt Kemp.
Center fielder, Matt Kemp.
Matt Kemp hit a 2-run home run in the 2nd inning, walked in the 3rd, and flied to right in the 5th. Matt hitting .323, 13 home runs, 55 runs batted in. Randy Wolf, when he goes to the mound in the 8th inning, will have made 99 pitches. And in looking at Randy's pitch total so far this year, he has not made, well, 118 pitches would be his high. That would be back on the 9th of July against the New York Mets. 118. 2 balls and no strikes they count to Matt Kemp. Weathers now behind 3-0. Weathers was a great athlete even back in his kid days. In high school, he once pitched a no-hitter and hit 3 home runs. That's ball 4 to Matt Kemp. And Randy Wolf will be coming up. Well, here are the final numbers for our CarMax text message question. Remember, we asked, do you think Pete Rose belongs in the Hall of Fame? 76% of you said yes. Randy Wolf singled to center in the second inning, sacrificed in the third, doubled to drive in a run in the fifth, and promptly slaps it to shallow left center, and here comes Taveras. So Randy, a tough out with the bat, goes 2 for 3, and Rafael Furcal will be coming up, taking a little time to let Randy get back to the dugout. Furcal having a big night. Single to left to lead off the game and scored. Single to left in the third inning and homered in the fifth. One ball and no strikes. One ball and one strike. David Weathers, despite the fact he's coming up 40 years old, despite the fact he first came up to the big leagues in 1991, is still a very valuable commodity. Little ground ball, tricky hop, and a nice play by Rosales. No runs, no hits, a walk and a man left. David does his job, and at the end of 7, 12-1 Dodgers. Takes over at second base for Orlando Hudson. Crowd enjoying the Dodger outburst. 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 5 in the third, 3 in the fifth, and a lot of folks decided to head home as Castro comes in to start the 8th inning. Adam Rosales flying to right, popped to short. 0 for 2, playing because they benched Brandon Phillips, and 1 ball and no strikes. Ball 2. So Randy Wolf has just gone over the 100-pitch mark. As we said, he made 118 pitches earlier in July in New York. And that's going to be hit over Castro's head. Base hit to right field. So Rosales goes 1 for 3. And the batter will be Paul Janisch. That is the first hit for the Reds since Encarnacion singled back in the second inning. Remember last night, Reds scored 3 in the first inning, and then they had 1 hit until the 8th. And in the 8th inning last night, they came alive and scored a couple. 0-1 to Giannis. Jason Schmidt, who picked up the victory, going 5 after a nightmarish first inning. But he settled down, made 91 pitches, and came away with a win. Runner going, they're not going to pay any attention to Rosales. It is intentional defensive indifference, so no stolen base. 1-1 the count to Giannis, who has walked and grounded out. Handled himself very well defensively. 2-1. Straight changeup that time, and Randy talking to Russell Martin, I think, about that pitch. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Claudio Vargas begins to loosen up. Two balls and 1 strike. Fastball fouled off, 2-2. Giannis with Sutton on deck. Remember, in the double switch, Sutton bats 9th. Still 2-2. Bronson Arroyo, Chad Billingsley tomorrow night. Manny Ramirez bobblehead night. And remember, the game is sold out, so we don't want you to be inconvenienced. Come over here without a ticket. Fly ball to Ethier. So 1 away. Rosales holds at second base. And Drew Sutton coming up. With David Weathers on the mound, the state of Tennessee is well represented. Drew Sutton is from Jackson, Tennessee. Went to school at Baylor. And he was originally drafted by the Astros. And we mentioned, remember when the Astros were here, they had Jeff Keppinger playing second and third in the series, the boy who walks more than he strikes out. Well, it was a deal. Sutton came to Cincinnati and Keppinger went to Houston. We have the paid attendance tonight. Another fine crowd on a beautiful summer's night. It was 81 degrees when the game started. 49,027 paid attendance. 0-2. Fastball away. Randy hitting 87 on the gun here in the 8th inning. Dodgers used Jonathan Broxton 3 games in a row, so Joe Torre said before the game it was very doubtful he'd have to use Jonathan tonight. So the Dodgers go and get 12 to make sure he doesn't have to work. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Trying to hit that corner and he misses. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Sutton, a switch hitter, batting right-handed, but he is 0 for 5 left, 0 for 1 right. Just called up from Louisville. Foul tip, jumps away from Russell Martin, so the count stays 2 balls and 2 strikes. We were talking about Sutton last night, working on his swing with Jaime Ceballos, a former golf pro who uses computer models as a learning tool. So you've heard about that being applied to the golf swing. They decided to move the level up in the plane for baseball. and he promptly strokes it into left center for a base hit. That will get a run home on the long double by Drew Sutton. That would be his second run batted in. He did have one when Drew Sutton, looking back at his books, I guess that's his first major league hit. Good for him. So Joe Torre is making his way to the mound, and he doesn't want Randy Wolf to force it, especially leading 12-2. And in a moment, when Randy Wolf walks off, he's going to get a standing ovation. 115 pitches, and he just pitched a gem. We'll be back. California Toyota dealers. Toyota moving forward. And by Carl's Jr. Try a Carl's Jr. $6 burger made with 100% Black Angus beef. Claudio Vargas comes in to pick up for Randy Wolf. 115 pitches, going 7 1/3, charged with 2 runs. But of course, Sutton at second base is also his responsibility. Willie Taveras, the hitter, is 0 for 3. 2 ground balls and struck out. Taveras' very first at bat in the series tripled off the top of the left center field wall last night. So Vargas, who was out for a long time, fighting his way back. Ground foul, 1-1. Chris Dickerson, who started last night in right field, is out on deck. Dickerson 0 for 2. So this is only the second time tonight the Reds have had more than 3 batters in an inning. Taveras hitting .247, 1 home run, 12 runs batted in. 2-1 to Willie. Foul back, 2-2. Claudio Vargas, out of the Dominican from Valverde Mao, lives in Santiago. The youngest of 12 children. He has 7 sisters and 4 brothers. Signed by the Marlins when he was 16 years old, but first came up with the Expos. And that'll do it. Taveras on a pitch in goes down. 2 down. We'll have a hitter. Dickerson now coming up to hit for Weathers. Remember, Sutton came in with Weathers. He was batting ninth. So Dickerson is hitting for David Weathers. And ball one to Chris. Dickerson has an NFL connection. His father Sam played in the NFL, but a lot of people think he's related to Hall of Famer Eric Dickerson, and that is not true. He was born in Hollywood with Sherman Oaks and Long Beach. Grew up with a couple of buddies who have done very well, Matt Leinart and Matt Cassell, current NFL quarterbacks. Dickerson 6'3", 225. 2-1. Dickerson was signed by the Reds 6 years ago out of the University of Nevada. Came up last year and hit 6 home runs. He has 2 so far this year. Last year in 100 at bats he hit .304. Off the plate, ball 3. 3-1. Dickerson last night fouled out, walked, and lined out. So Drew Sutton with a double and a run batted in at second base. Ground ball to Loney. Big hop. He stays with it, and that'll be the inning. 1 run, 2 hits, a man left. And at the end of 7 1/2, as Randy Wolf sits quietly in the dugout, 12-2 Dodgers. To try and stop the Dodgers in the bottom of the 8th. First, they brought in David Weathers, who is going to be 40 years old in September, and now they come right back with Arthur Rhodes, and he's going to be 40 in October. So it has come to that for the Reds, back-to-back 40-year-olds. Weathers the right-hander and Rhodes the left-hander. Arthur was originally selected by the Orioles in 1988. He's out of Waco, Texas. He has been with Baltimore for a long time. Then the Mariners, the A's, the Indians, the Phillies, back to the Mariners, Marlins, and now the Reds. His brother Ricky once pitched for the Yankees and the Mariners in their organizations. So Arthur, 6'2", 212. Ready to go to work on Juan Castro. Fouled away. Castro finishing up at second base in a runaway game to give Orlando Hudson a little time off. Orlando, by the way, went 1 for 4. Singled first time up. 0-2 the count. So Arthur Rhodes started his pro career 1988. Foul back again. Rhodes signed out of high school with the Orioles. He was 18 years old. When he joined the Orioles, he was the youngest player on the team. One and two the count. And that's going to go foul, out of play. Interesting, when you look up close to Arthur Rhodes, you will see that he wears diamond earrings, or studs, however you want to call them. About 8 years ago in August, they forced him to take them off. Omar Vizquel complained of the glare. That's right. That's popped up. Foul ground. Votto on the run. Good play for Joey. One away. Yeah, so Omar Vizquel, maybe he's trying to psych Arthur Rhodes out. Complained of the glare. And Rhodes got hot. He argued and was kicked out of the game. The next day, Mariner players walked past Rhodes in the clubhouse with oversized earrings or keychains on their ears. Vizquel's mock complaint was, "My wife wanted a pair like that when she saw how big they were." And Travis Fryman, and you remember he was a terrific player. Travis Fryman said, "You know, it might be time for me to get out of the game when two teams are fighting over earrings." That had to be a mess. 8 years ago in August. The jewelry game. Here's Pierre. Had to run for Ramirez when he was hit by a pitch. Juan is 0 for 2, a couple of ground balls. Fastball hit foul down the line, out of play. Rhodes, by the way, hit 90 on the gun, so he can still bring it. Rhodes fastball, curveball, changeup, slider, cutter. Picked up a lot over the years. Fastball again hit foul, out of play. One and two to Juan Pierre. When the Reds come up in the ninth inning, they'll have Joey Votto, then Johnny Gomes, and Edwin Encarnacion. Little nubber up along first. Rhodes guns it in time to Votto. Crowd didn't agree with it. 2 out in the 8th inning. You know, you can follow the Dodgers on your iPhone and iPod Touch with MLB.com at Bat 2009, featuring play-by-play, video highlights, and live audio broadcasts. Visit Dodgers.com on your iPhone or your iPod Touch to purchase. 2 out, 12-2 Dodgers in the 8th, and the batter is Andre Ethier. Grounded to first, walked, scored a run, doubled, fly deep to left. 1 ball and no strikes. One of the fellows who helped Arthur Rhodes have such a long and distinguished career, like David Weathers, Davey Johnson, who was a terrific infielder, managed here, but managed the Orioles when they first had Arthur Rhodes. Rhodes was a starting pitcher in those days, but he always had a high pitch count. And so Davey said, "You know, you're going to do better in the pen." And he has had a tremendous career coming out of the bullpen. Davey did the same thing with another pitcher who pitched for a lot of clubs for a lot of years, Randy Myers, another left-hander who threw very hard. 2-1 on the corner. 2-2. Last year, left-hand hitters hit 157 against Arthur Rhodes. That's right, 157. So a big challenge for Andre Ethier. Fastball. Tell you, if you're a young pitcher on the Cincinnati staff, you could certainly learn a great deal talking to David Weathers and Arthur Rhodes. That would be higher education. Two balls, two strikes. Fouled away. Coming into this year, Rhodes had worked 1,046 innings. Add another 31. And another left-hander bites the dust against Arthur Rhodes. So the Dodgers go 1-2-3. Nice job for Arthur. And at the end of 8, 12-2 Dodgers. Assist of the game came early. After Furcal and Hudson and singled, Manny Ramirez tripled all the way down into the left field corner. His first triple of the year for the Dodgers, scoring Furcal and Hudson. The Dodgers were off and running. Added 2 more in the second, 5 in the third, 3 in the fifth. They lead 12-2 in the ninth. Joey Votto, Johnny Gomes, and Edwin Encarnacion. Votto struck out, lost a hit in the top of the third inning on a fine running catch by Manny Ramirez. On the dead run, he caught a sinking line drive just below his knees. And then last time up, Votto flied to left. Joey hitting .342. 1-1. Bailey, Burton, Herrera, Weathers, and Rhodes. Wolf and Vargas for the Dodgers. 1 ball, 1 strike. Check swing. I think it'll cost him a strike. It does. 1-2. Joey last night 1 for 3 with a walk and 0 for 3 tonight. Very good hitter, batting .342. lost 5 points so far tonight. And promptly whacks it to right, and there's no doubt about it. That thing is really hit more than halfway up the pavilion, and then makes it Dodgers 12, Reds 3 for Votto, his 13th home run, his 45 runs batted in. For Vargas, who has not pitched much at all, that would be his first home run allowed. Breaking ball, and Joey really went down to get it and crushed it. That thing looked like it was out of the strike zone. It doesn't make any difference for a left-hand hitter. They like them down anyway. So Joey hits it out. Lance Nix over to say something to him. And here's Johnny Gomes, who homered back in the 2nd inning. Ball 1. 12-3 Dodgers. Trying to beat the Reds 11 straight at Dodger Stadium. Milwaukee has beaten Pittsburgh 18 straight in Milwaukee. 1-1. And that's a towering fly ball, but it's playable. Matt Kemp. One out in the 9th. Edwin Encarnacion coming up as Gomes heads back to the dugout. Encarnacion single to right, hit into a force play and struck out. Casey Tatum is on deck. And that's lifted to right center. Ethier calling this time. So a home run followed by 2 fly balls. Vargas now 1-8 from closing up shop. And Tatum checking in. Craig Tatum, in what we believe was his major league debut, hit the first pitch and grounded out in the 7th inning. Craig, 225 pounds, 26 years old. Ball 1. Selected in the 3rd round of the 2004 draft. Big man on campus at Mississippi State. 1-1. Tatum in the minors, Craig hit as many as 10 home runs and 8 home runs at Chattanooga. Craig Tatum is another fella who had to have Tommy John surgery. He had that during the offseason between 04 and 05. 2-1. Little ground ball to Furcal. This ought to be it. So the Dodgers win one going away, giving up a run in the 9th inning. 12 runs, 12 hits, no errors for the Dodgers.